Deepak Sharma, the President and Chief Digital Officer at Kotak Mahindra Bank. I think the most important thing I would say is to ensure that the data that one has is authentic, verified data, because a lot of times if the quality of data is not good, it's like a garbage in, garbage out. So ensuring that the data quality is first, or data is cleaned up properly, is important. The second important thing is what are the key outcomes that one is expecting out of data. So if data is used, say, for a business model validation or a forecasting, then you also need to look at what is the second party and the third party data you have, because you may not have all the data within the organization's confine. So again, ability to get that kind of data on an anonymized basis, aggregated basis, and identifying which of those data is of value and not. Not all data is of equal value. So just like you said, data is the new oil. It's not necessarily you have to purify that to really make it what you can use. Same thing happens with data. You get a lot of garbage, you don't get a lot of data which is of little value. And the last I would say is, as you build these models, it has to be tested against the reality on the ground. Because a lot of time the data or models are like a black box. Unless you are able to verify and validate the data and the model and fine tune it, you really don't get the quality outcome. So one has to keep in mind all these things when embarking on the journey. So I think I would say that it's important to be very clear on what are the key outcomes or objectives that you want to solve using data. Is an enabling layer, or I keep calling it a foundational layer. There is enough data available. Rather than worrying too much about the data first, I think one should be clear of what do you want to achieve. So do you want to reduce risk or instances of fraud, or you want to build a better credit decisioning outcome, or you want to monitor and reduce the number of bad loans in the book, or reduce the number of fraudulent transactions. So if you're clear about the outcome, then comes as to what kind of input of data that you require. And back to the question of, is there any kind of biases that have creeped in the data sources? So ensuring that when the cleaning process or the validation process happens, then the volume, velocity, and veracity of data, all three V's, are taken care of for us to optimize the right outcomes for any of these metrics that we are trying to solve. I think everybody is trying to find how they can create new business opportunities or value out of the way the data is getting democratized, but also getting more, I would say, in a personalized manner, where the consent-based architecture under the Personal Data Protection Bill is coming through. So it creates the kind of business models that startups or data companies or large enterprises are all reimagining, right from securing the data, making sure that there is a personalization, consent architecture, and the value that one can create out of it. I also see that customers are getting highly aware about the power of their data. And that starts to create a new kind of value, because customers will increasingly demand, what do I get for the data that I provide you? And I think there's a great sense of excitement with the kind of audience that I saw inside. And I'm sure many of them are thinking about the next big idea and what they can do. And we'd love to see if some great ideas and ventures come out of this.